Oh man, welcome back to the Gray Space. I'm Zeke. That is Dre.
Yepers.
And we got another fire interview for you guys this week.
Yes. But before we get into it, y'all know what to do. Make sure you subscribe to become part of the tribe. Do us right. Hit that like and comment because you are loving the content. Now, we got a special guest in the building, my guy.
Yes, we do.
And it's been a minute, man. I ain't had one of these little intros in a minute, but I had to lace something up. You know what I'm saying? Like a fresh pair of J's. Here we go. You know what I'm saying? Our guest today is a multifaceted individual whose love for everything hip-hop has led to her drive to inspire and change the community. From the Phoenix Local Organizing Committee to the Grassrootz Bookstore, being a music artist and rights activist to much more. She has a super dope event coming up August 11th and 12th. Celebrating hip-hop, and her story is even better. She's here to tell it on the only place stories originate. Please welcome Arian Nicole to the Gray Space.
Peace, family.
Welcome.
What's happening?
Welcome.
Wow. So talk about research. Research.
Yeah.
And so that's dope. So I started off my musical journey in my mother's living room. So I always have to shout out my mother for her dope record collection. I came up in the era where you took the cassette player.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Side A and side B.
Mm-hmm.
You can beatbox in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Take it out, play it back, record to get your little production going. And so that's pretty much my origin story when it comes to music and hip hop.
Okay. So I'm glad you dove right in. That normally doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Normally got to reel them in.
Well, I'm curious, what were the records that you were listening to back then?
Okay, so Eric B. and Rakim was one that stands prominent in my mind. I think it was Relax with Pep. But I'll tell you, when I fell, what made me fall in love with hip-hop was actually LL Cool J. I think it was Bad. And so I went over to one of my cousins' house, and he was blasting it. And I was like, what is this? Now, I was, a little baby, and so I went to jump, I think on my auntie's bed, jumping up and down, pretending like I was LL and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was definitely a record that impacted me. And then you go to the vinyl. My mother had vinyl, too. So Earth, Wind, and Fire was on vinyl. Mm-hmm. And then Patrice Rushen. So, if you don't know her, look her up. I was looking on the back of the credits. During that time when they had the credits, you could read about the stories and all of that. And so anyway, I found out she played multiple instruments on her records, and that, inspired me to pick up instruments in school.
Okay.
I mean, just everything, with music. So,
do you still play any today?
It's been a year. So what I play is piano.
Okay.
But it's whatever I want to play.
Okay.
So it's not.
Fair enough.
So a little bit of classical training, but the rest is me.
Okay. So, hip hop, or where are you originally from?
I was born in Peoria, Illinois, about 2.5 hours outside of Chicago.
Illinois, okay.
Illinois.
You say it with the S?
I say it with the S.
Okay, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
So a lot of people say Illinois. I say it with the S.
Okay, fair enough. When did you transition to Arizona?
So that was later part of my life, 11, 12 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
so fairly recent.
Yeah, fairly recent, yeah.
What was the move? Why the move?
Okay, so after Peoria, we moved to Flint, Michigan. So I grew up in Flint.
Okay.
And so,
Yeah.
Michigan, cold, but we found it to be, a better move here in Phoenix.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You like the heat better?
No.
I just thought I'd ask, I just thought I'd ask. Yeah.
But no, so I mean, Flint, that's family. Like, that's home. So we left right before the water situation. So we did, but it was, it's a lot of other, situations. We was doing a lot of community, activism work. We had LOC work. That's a local organizer committee.
Right.
So when you read, Phoenix Local Organizer Committee, we were part of the Flint Organizing Committee. Right. And that stems from the Millions More Movement march in Washington, D.C., which originates from the Million Man March.
Right.
So all of that work, in the community, we just carried it on city to city. but I did a lot of community activism and music, right?
Okay.
Always been, I would say, my calling.
Okay.
Okay, so number one, like being born in Peoria, Illinois, I was born in a project apartment complex called Taft Homes.
Okay.
And so in each apartment was a different story. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know, that, you know, reflected, you know, growing up and, you know, the projects.
Right.
So you had domestic violence in one.
Right.
You had child abuse in another. You had alcoholism in another, right? And so as a child, I'm like 7 or 8 years old, and I'm feeling this. But then you have my mother's records. So I'm playing Stevie. I'm playing Michael. I'm playing Earth, Wind, and Fire. And in that, I'm seeing, oh, man. So the way we respond to music is almost like escapism, if you will.
It is, yep.
My mother, you know, I didn't grow up seeing her use anything to medicate herself away from the pain of our reality. But she played her records. And so that being one of the solutions I felt as a child to escape.
Okay.
And so, you know, being attracted to, like, I mean, Stevie is just, he's bad. And I ended up meeting him a couple of years ago in L.A., and yeah, I was out for a music conference in LA, and I was with a woman who knew him personally.
Okay.
So we went to a restaurant, and he came in, and my husband was with me. He was like, "Is that Stevie Wonder?" And so I'm looking like, it is. It is. So she's like, oh. So she goes like, "Hey, Stevie," and I'm like, okay, so I know you're getting ready to introduce me.
Right. I know it's
right?
coming. Right.
He greets her on a first name basis, you know. So I'm like, okay, you know, awesome. So I walked over to him, and I began to tell him his impact on me in my mother's living room.
That's dope.
And so the tears started falling and all of that, because it's just taking me back, but it's also, you know, giving me the opportunity to tell him how much his lyricism meant to me, and I feel the world. Because I'm growing up in a condition where, you know, you see a whole lot of pain. But one of the things Stevie always talked about was love.
Yes.
Right? And so I think it's Love's in Need of Love Today, you know, records like that, you know, songs in the key of life. And so, you know, he took us out of, you know, our condition into, like, you know, the condition of humanity. And so I thanked him for it. Okay. I said, you and Michael Jackson, y'all had such a tremendous impact on my life. I began to cry. His team was like, oh, that's just the real. Like, ain't nothing fake about what she said. And he's like, oh, my God. He said, I got to get up for you. He got up. He said, let's take a photo. And so we took a picture, and that was a really blessed moment.
Legendary.
So,
that's
legendary.
Dope. Yeah.
Yeah, the one and only.
So, very, very intriguing as you start to kind of tell your story is the activism part. But I feel like kind of just what you said so far is like both kind of went hand in hand, and obviously the music that you grew up on at that time leads to that, right? I mean, as the Eric B's and the Rakims
right.
and the Public Enemies and the Queen Latifahs and that early generation of hip hop is starting to become a mainstream commodity. That's what you're seeing. And at the same time, you're now starting to become a young adult,
right,
and get into activism. But that is not, and we have friends, Ramses Ja and Rocky Tirade that do great jobs in the community. And truthfully, I have to say I'm envious of the things they're able to do, because it is not an easy thing to get into at any point, right? It's not an easy thing to step out there, no matter whether it's right, wrong, and different. Right. It's just hard to put yourself out there. So what was the thing that made you make that decision to say, you know what, not only is this something that I'm going to do, but I'm going to lock into and really be a voice and work with the community? What was that thing?
Wow, it's multiple things, but at the heart of it was knowing that I could use my gift and music to help the people.
Okay.
Like that was, that's a compelling force. And then you start getting into the facts, right? The research. Mm-hmm. And like you were, bringing up, like for instance, like, the industry. Now, the main thing I uncovered was that as an artist, we have the power to send a message out that can help unlock people, help free them, help them, cause to think different thoughts. And so when I was looking at the industry changes, like my mother, she laid a base for me because she was really into, the 90s conscious era. That's how I found out about X-Clan. That's how I found out about Sister Souljah. That's how I found out, about Eric B. and Rakim. And then later Nas. And then later Chuck D, Public Enemy.
Right.
All these kind of things. So I've always been kind of different in high school because, they would be bumping, whatever. And I would have like Chuck D's album. Like, who was that?
Right.
Who was Chuck D? Who was Guru Jazzmatazz? And so, I appreciate, that background. But as you come to see, the message taking on a different melody, and it's like, we don't need that.
Right.
We need all that. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? At this time, if we're looking at, shaping the reality, to be something different and better.
Okay. And when did you really start getting into kind of the activist side of things?
What year? I mean, I know. It was in my before my early 20s, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had kind of been seasoned in it, and that what like. So you started this in Flint.
Yeah, I was getting the base laid for me because think about a girl like, I don't know, 5 feet tall, skinny, and a big jacket.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of like how the movement fit on me, because I knew that it was something that was special to the community, but I didn't necessarily have a voice. I was a super introvert.
Okay.
So my artistry was like, internal.
Okay.
Or I would draw pictures of different people. They'll come and request me to draw photos of them, like in school and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I was like the artist.
So you're the artist.
Quiet.
Okay.
And or the music. I had a girl group. We would come together after school and sing and all that kind of stuff. And so it wasn't. I didn't find my voice.
Okay.
In my preteens or teens.
What was the name of the group?
Stardust.
Okay. I like that.
Y'all taking me back, but this is in Flint, right?
Right.
So we singing tunes, and at the same time, a funny thing, the D boys on the block. My mother was very strict. We had the D boys, dope boys on the block. They'd be like, Arian, can you come outside and sing us a song? So I would go in the corner and sing for them.
Yeah.
They were like, we love your music and your art, and that was another hint or clue for me, like. Wow,
Okay.
If I can get a message across,
Right. Yeah,
right
sure.
On the corner.
Yeah.
So
talk about the LOC. You obviously mentioned, there different places, right, have the LOCs. Explain to the general guy that's sitting on the corner right now or sitting at home, what is the functionality of the LOC?
Okay, so when the call was made, I have to go back to the Million Man March. So the call was made by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for 1 million men to come to D.C., 1 million black men to come to D.C. 2 million men showed up. If you look at the facts, of course, like the numbers, fluctuate. They say this and that. But okay, it was nearly 2 million. And so at the end, the call was made to go home to your community and make it a decent place to live. Adopt some children, in the foster care system. Go join a church. Go join the Urban League. Go join, just clean up yourselves, your community, and make that commitment.
Right.
Okay, that's 95. And then we had to go back in 2005. And so then the call was made to mobilize and organize, because we haven't yet, reached a point where we are producing things, for ourselves. So you have a lot of different segments or fashions or different businesses, different people, different communities, and the money is pouring out.
Right.
It's bleeding out.
Right.
But we didn't necessarily have the resources or the mentality even at a certain time that we can do this.
Right.
So that's where you have organizing. And so LOC is Local Organizing Committee. And they were established actually nationwide.
Okay.
And I'll tell you something, Phoenix is one of the major ones actually still standing since that call was made.
Okay.
It's a few others, but we're the strongest.
Really?
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
Well, a lot of times when you're trying to change a mentality, people generally like events more than movements. Mm-hmm. So when we went to DC, it was more of an event. You know, so now we have to turn our events to movements. It's bigger than a moment. It's a movement.
That's a great point.
And so when we adopted that mindset, like, hey, we got to meet weekly. We have to meet monthly. And we have to set goals and initiatives, project planning, management, the blah, blah, boring stuff.
Right.
It may not be throwing Molotov, cocktails and all, it's the meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Where you get things done.
Yeah.
So that's what the Phoenix LLC is.
So I have a question for you that we really just sparked today. So we're in the car and just left the mall, grab a couple things, and we were talking about fashion, right? Mm-hmm. And we're talking about Fashion Square and the Gucci stores and the Louis stores and the Versace's and the blah 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 blah, right? And he and I, we talk so much about race and this is my brother right here. Like we ride together, you know what I'm saying? And like when I say like an ally, like this dude, we have so many conversations. And one of the things that we were talking about was to your point, the money pours out, it doesn't come back in.
Yes.
Right? And I was saying there was a moment in time in the early 2000s, late 90s, right, where you had black-owned fashion. Let's just keep it within fashion,
okay.
right? Where you had the Sean Combs of the world, you had the Fubu's of the world, you had the Fat Farms of the world that were maybe not on a level of a Louis, Gucci, or Versace, but
right.
man, when we wore them, it was ours and it was fly, right? And one of the things we talked about, which I want to get into a little bit more as we talk about the event later, but the root of hip hop was taking the dirty and turning it into something clean, right? It was taking the scraps and making it into a beautiful meal, right? And as we've gone through our community over the last 15 years, really 10 to 15 years, you've seen kind of this transition where the major artists are saying all the right things.
Right.
We need to keep the dollar here. We need to da-da-da-da. But nobody's really doing things about it. And the major ones that did do something about it, they're no longer prominent within our culture anymore. We are wearing the Louis. We are wearing the Gucci's. We're going to the Versace store. We're putting that on the mainstream while we're saying something else, right?
Right.
What do you think, why do you think that is? And what do you think it's going to take for us to get better at keeping that dollar, especially in the fashion sense? Because I think clothing is such a big thing for us. It's a huge thing, right? Fashion is a huge thing, especially in the hip hop culture. What do you like? You got companies like Actively Black. There's so many companies that are out there. We need to keep that. How do we do that? And why do you think we haven't been able to do it?
I think it starts with realizing that you can do the same thing.
Right.
These companies like when Gucci, Louis Vuitton, like these are the names of men, right? What makes their brand better than yours? My sister that I brought with me, Taliba, she has a design company, she made our shirts, for the August 11th, right? Okay. That's my sister.
Yeah.
So I'm going to big her up, so we can all, come and support. So I think that's another thing too. It's like love of self. But see, here's the thing too, us as a community, when you look at why we aren't doing something, sometimes we could be envious and jealous.
That's true.
Because when you're on the bottom for so long, and someone with money, you're idolizing. You're not loving your people, but you're idolizing, the one who is not in the same condition as you.
Right.
And so it's a mentality. It's like, no, it's not better. You know, we just have to, love ours,
right?
Support each other, get rid of the envy and the jealousy. And I think that's one major impediment to us, being able to come together.
Yeah.
Spend our money with each other.
Yeah.
So that's the solution, really. Spend your money with each other.
Yeah.
So
let's get into the Grassrootz Bookstore and the event that's coming up, because this is third year, correct? Third year?
This is the fourth year. No, I'm sorry. So the bookstore is celebrating our 4th year. So the hip hop celebration this is our 3rd annual.
By the way, that's a fantastic bookstore.
Thank you. Awesome.
If people don't know, just shout out real quick, like where it's at.
Okay, so we're at 1145 East Washington Street. I'm going to give you the store hours and everything.
Yeah,
Y'all come through, 12 noon to 7 p.m. That's from Tuesday through Friday. We're open on the weekend as well, 12 to 5. Come through. 1145 East Washington Street.
Okay.
Amazing.
Grassrootz Bookstore.
Amazing store.
Thank you.
Amazing store. Overwhelmingly amazing. Like, because, again, you just don't have it, right? Like, you can't just hit the corner, you know what I'm saying, and have something available. Like,
right.
We're both from California, right? And so, everything's so local out there, and even still you can't have that. You know what I'm saying? So we walked in, and I was like, talk about spending money.
Yeah.
I was like, they gonna have all of it. We're gonna get up out of here right now. Like, we got to go.
Nice.
But that's what's missing though, is the
true.
kind of the mom and pop shop, and that feeling when you walk into a store like that, of it permeates this vibe, this this kind of like attitude of like welcomeness and
nice.
And it's immediately when you walk through the doors.
Nice.
I need to say that because I felt such a great and welcoming place to be and walk into.
Nice. Yeah. So we've been, we're celebrating our 4th year, and this is the home of the hip hop celebration,
right?
And so it's a hip hop celebration at a bookstore. But thank y'all for bigging it up and coming through.
No, it's definitely dope, and we're definitely going to make our way to the event. But talk about the event. Talk about kind of how it started, not only for this year, but really how the whole thing came together.
Okay.
And kind of segue into where it's going to be this year.
So the origin comes from the establishment of a Ministry of Arts and Culture. And that's one of 9 ministries that the Phoenix LOC is tasked with developing. When we say ministry, we mean service, points of service, right, within our community. Here's the thing. Now, the movement is not solely a black movement.
Right.
We start with self, but this is a national movement because really, to be honest, we have to restart from the bottom up.
That's a fact.
We got to organize it. We got to start, from the bottom up. But since, our people are under like the condition that I was saying, the mentality, we have to do some work with us to get us to love self first. Because if you open the doors and then we not even established, we're not standing on our own too strong enough to be able to, accept, what I'm saying? So it's a mental thing. But it comes from the Ministry of Arts and Culture. So we have, defense, we have agriculture, because we got to grow our own food.
Yes.
Food is crap.
Yes.
It's garbage. Garbage for our fancy.
Yes. 100%.
Okay. And so I feel the same too with a lot of aspects, within arts and culture. And so, it's just about, having a festival or celebration that embodies, what we need as a people.
Okay.
And so that's the inception. And so when I took it on first, and now, mind you, these are not things, like you said, what gave me my voice. It's like it's a direction that you need to go, but you look at the work and you're like, I just want to be an artist. That's all I wanted to be.
Right.
I just wanted to be an artist. But I said, what good is it if I'm an artist, but I have to walk into a system that's trying to break me down or won't let me speak? So now it's like, okay, Aaron, you be an artist, but you also got to establish something, a platform where you can speak,
yes,
where you won't be censored, you know what I mean? And you can make it, a truly human and beautiful experience, for the people.
1,000%. Yep.
So that's the origin.
So what can people expect? Like Joe Blow walking off the street, you know what I mean? Oh man, I heard about this and I'm going to go check it out. Like what can they expect? Because you've got a little, if they go to the Instagram page, they can kind of see what's going on. But what, from your perspective, what can people expect?
So here's what I want you to see. I want you to see peace, love, unity, and having fun.
Okay.
So that's the origin of hip hop. And so we do it every year on August 11th for that reason, to uplift and acknowledge the original essence of hip hop culture.
Dope.
So I learned from KRS-One. When I was in Flint, Michigan, I was blessed to open up for him. And then he took us all into a meeting, some of us, like some artists and activists, and we were in a recording studio. We recorded the song, then we had a meeting. He was talking about how HIP stood for intelligent and HOP stands for movement. And it's originally supposed to be an intelligent movement. So I said, why don't we make, a center where we can come and honor that? Right. And so you can get artists who want to, be conscious. Because, I was looking, and I know we have beautiful gyms out here in AZ.
For sure.
I'm a late comer, I'm a late bloomer. I wasn't here, decades and decades.
Right.
But I know we have some, beautiful gyms. And one thing I found out, too, I'll take a young brother. He wanted to perform at Grassrootz Hip Hop. He said, I know what you're about, and I just want to let you know, I want to warn you, my lyrics are, he said, they're vulgar.
Okay.
He said, my stuff is vulgar. He was like, 18, 19. And he asked, well, can I still perform? I said, no, you can't perform that. But what you can do is come to one of our writer sessions, see what you're inspired to create, then bring that and you can perform.
Dope.
I said, bet, I'll take on the challenge. He did, and we're going to record him Monday.
Okay.
Nice.
So come in, see, our youth who take their pens. And so the spirit of it is to being accountable for the messages that we send out. That goes back, to the foundation. And so with intelligent, movement, what you can expect August 11th and 12th is an original family fun celebration. You can expect to see the DJ out there, okay?
Right.
We got something for the babies. We have a children's hour. It's going to be a bounce house. It's going to be a grill. The babies, can have food. We're centered around discussion this year.
Okay.
So something that we didn't do the previous years was have panels. So what you can expect to see is a panel discussion around taking back the village. What does that mean?
Okay.
That's Friday. Friday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We'll be inside DJ 1 period. We're going to have, giveaways and whatnot. We're going to talk about what made us fall in love with hip hop. And we're going to also talk about, different elements in the culture that, how can we, take this and apply things so that our children who are being affected, how do we, address these things? So questions on that. And then the next day is the community day.
Okay.
That's Saturday, August 12th.
Okay.
And so, we outside again.
Right.
We talking about, hip hop origins, and we're talking about owning our narrative in between performances.
Okay.
And so it's panelist discussion, performance. Another exciting thing.
I love
since
it.
This will be, air, in advance. So another exciting thing, we're going to have a historic photo. That's going to be with the Arizona Informant and my lovely sister Leah Marche. So we're calling out hip hop artists, of Arizona, come through for this big, massive photo shoot of all of us together. So you can expect that too.
Now I'm gonna say two things. She breezed past the KRS-One thing. I don't know if you've seen that. Right? Because she's been very boom, 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 boom. She was like, man, it was just KRS-One, and, we just, but so I'm going to let that slide. You know what I'm saying? But I love how you light up when you're talking about this event, right? Because, again, we have so many conversations. We need to have them on air. Like, there's so much stuff that he and I talk about that we don't talk about on air. But we have so many conversations of so there's a place in San Diego called Liberty Station, and this place is like an artist's dream, right? Okay. It's got food, it's just culture, right? It's just they've got painters, they've got his sister owns a pottery shop there. Okay. They've got all of it. Summer camps, kids, all this stuff, and we're just like, where are the events? Where are these things that? And it kind of goes back to your point of the event, not the movement. But I think it's important for the events to be there, but not be so one-timey and so large in stature, it needs to be like a consistent event, like movement of the events, right?
Yes,
and I think it's great that it's a hard thing to start something and then to stick with it. Like there's a lot of first annuals.
It's a lot.
There's not a lot of second annuals.
That is very true.
I struggled. I ain't even gonna lie. I struggled, because, organizing work,
right,
sticking to it, committing, doing what you say you're going to do, and, having, that, dedication, right? Because things come up.
Yeah.
Somebody might want to, take a vacation to Honolulu, you know what I'm saying, with the family or something but we sticking to this every year.
Right.
August 11th through 12th.
Yeah.
Why? Because, like you said, it needs to continue. Because what I see it's evolving.
Yeah.
So, first year, we only have 1 day.
Okay.
Then second year, 2 days. Third year, 2 days in conversation.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so, what makes this more of a movement, beyond an event is we're going to have a pledge. We're going to have a pledge for artists. We'll have a pledge for community. Okay. Very simple. For community, when we leave, we pledge to love ourselves, love our community, and buy black.
I like it.
I like it too.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I can get down with that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For sure. Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to leave a question to my good brother because he loves to ask this question. Yes. Because you are a hip-hop aficionado.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't ask this question, this is the one place to ask the question, right? Because
I will. I'll ask it.
Yeah, jump into it.
Yeah, I'll ask
All
it.
Right.
I find it fascinating because we have a lot of people that are artists and stuff like that come on the show. And I'm always curious of what they think, and I'm curious of now what you think of hip-hop today. Like, what state it's in? Is it a good state, a bad state, state of flux? Whatever your opinion is, I would love to hear what you think of hip-hop today.
Well, I do. I think it reflects the condition of the people. I would say that. I think it reflects, it's a mirror, right? The mirror is there. It reflects what we see, but we can use the mirror to correct what we see. So when I look at, the state of hip-hop, I do see it, especially on a mainstream level, money, right? Mm-hmm. You need money to survive, but not to the detriment of the generation that's coming up after you. So I see lack of accountability. I see lack of cultural responsibility in the name of it just being art. See, the thing about, it's not just art. You have, a lot of, people with very strong positions, right? That we should be free. You should be creative, But you know what? Freedom is not license. It's not license. You can get a license, to do certain things. You know what I mean? But, no, freedom, and take what I'm saying in context. Freedom without restriction is dangerous. Freedom without restrictions are dangerous. Not restricting good things, restricting the bad.
Okay.
It's like a child. When a child is growing up, if you don't stop them from touching the fire, you're a bad parent, right? Gotta have certain restrictions, right? Now, in life, typically everybody say, we don't have a guide, but you live and you learn. So we have enough information that teaches us that certain things, lead to certain results.
Right.
Right? With experience comes wisdom. And what we have now are a lot of children being persuaded to this druggish culture.
Yes.
I was looking at a video of, what's his name? He has the very high-pitched voice. Love him. Beautiful soul. Y'all probably don't know because everybody sounds the same in some aspects.
Is it an artist that's been out for a while, or?
Yeah, he's been
Lil
out
Wayne?
for a while. No. He's on the other side of Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne opened the door for him.
Man,
I have to skip, but
Migos, I'm thinking like
no, because they don't really have a. He has like the high, but anyway,
voice.
Okay.
I seen him as a child. He has so much light in his eyes. And now it's almost like he can't even get a straight sentence out. And because of, it's like this druggish culture where it's like, okay, I'm destroying myself, and it's an art form. So that's the way, I'm seeing it. Now, I'm not saying that it isn't reflective of like the pain that we want to escape.
Right.
In this nation or in this existence. But that's not the way. It's not the only way. Right. And don't push it in front of my children as being a viable way.
Right.
Because, it's like monkey see, monkey do. We go to school and we learn.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And we learn by way of a teacher teaching. Well, if you ask a child, who would they listen to more? Would it be your teacher, the president of the United States, your pastor, or the hip-hop artist? Maybe 10 out of 10 is going to be the hip-hop artist.
It might be, especially in today's world, for sure.
In today's world.
For sure.
And so now hip-hop has become the new teacher, a new leader.
Yeah.
And so if we're asking our president to be accountable for the message that he sends.
Yeah.
That's the power of music, though, in a sense, too, though. Like, you made me think of a documentary, actually, where people had dementia or Alzheimer's disease, and they're just kind of completely out of it, don't know where they're at, very sad. But they played some of these jazz that they loved, or, classical, and they immediately snapped out of it. And remembered everything about it. They knew the words. They knew the memory associated with that piece of music.
Yes.
I think it's fascinating because I think music is that powerful. I think it is the only, and this is just me speaking, but I truly believe this. I think it's the only art form that is the most powerful art form to move people.
Yes.
In any direction, in a good way or a bad way.
Yes.
It is definitely one of those things where it can create its own movement in a way.
Yeah.
It really can.
Yeah.
It's I think one of the most powerful art forms on this planet.
And, it has, created its own movement. Like, when you go overseas in Tokyo, like what they're doing, they rapping, they break dancing.
Oh, yeah.
South Africa, Europe, everywhere, So it's definitely, a powerful force. And so, all I'm asking, because I'm a mother, I wrote an article in one of like the most popular black newspapers in this country. It's the Final Call newspaper.
Okay.
And they printed my article. It was about hip hop, as a mother in the culture. Yes. And so, as a mother, a mother will run into the fire, to get her children. For sure. I'm not saying daddy won't. Mm-hmm. But a mother, will run in. And so it's that instinct too that really drove me this year, because I have teenage sons.
Okay.
I have all boys.
Ooh.
We're here. We're in America. I have all black boys, black sons. And I kept them away, honestly, from rap music for a while. It wasn't really on purpose, but it was on purpose in a lot of areas. Like, I would have them go to School of Hip Hop. Shout out to School of Hip Hop.
Yeah.
And they would go in there, and, one of my sons, his name is Nasir. And so it's a brother named True who works at the bookstore. He was like, Nasir, you got your name from? And he was like, no,
That's funny.
I'm into hip hop, but they didn't know it, to that same degree because of what I saw, crept into the culture. But, all I'm saying is that it's an intelligent movement, and that we can actually help, take the people and help us to rise above a certain condition. Everything to me is science. The water we're drinking is H2O.
Right.
Everything is science. And so sound and the words that you speak plays a part, right, on the development of the brain, the mind. And so, at the end of the day, we just want to live, right? Mm-hmm. Just want to live, and we want to live good lives, And but we don't understand how much power we have to change reality.
That's true.
That's what I mean by science.
Right.
So if you put the right word or the melody in, you can help somebody navigate through all of this. That's all I'm saying.
That's
so it's not shame
100%.
on you. You're just a terrible person if you rap about this. No, you don't understand the science.
Right.
So with a degree, you know, of knowledge, when you're made aware or conscious, I won't use the term woke because that's been drove into the ground. I don't even know what it means anymore.
Right.
But once you're, you know, made aware, then you can make a conscious decision. And so I think that's my job too as a mother in the culture. You know, mother is first teacher. So I can come and say, okay, this is how we can do it.
Right.
So it's not, you know, necessarily beating you, it's teaching.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I am ecstatic for this event coming up.
Cool.
I'm hoping on a wish and wishing on a hope that it's at least under 110. You know what I'm saying?
That's why, you know, you can go indoors. See, I don't want to. We're going to have the cooler, the swamp coolers.
But man, that 5 minutes from the car to the dog.
It's been hot. No, it's been dangerous.
It's been crazy. But hopefully it'll cool down. You know, you sign up for it when you're out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when we live in it. We live in an oven.
So
we live in the oven.
Yeah,
we
do.
sign up for it.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't want that to deter anybody, you know, from coming out. You know, we'll have the swamp coolers. You can always, you know, go inside. And we're starting later in the day, you know, and so now the tickets, I know y'all probably had, I'll just go ahead and give a shout out. You know, tickets is $25 for both days.
okay.
But when you do the 25, that gets you entered into a raffle. So a partner with a beautiful brother named Ira Daniels.
Shout out to
out
Ira,
here.
man.
Yes,
Shout out
you know,
to
Marmara
Ira.
Creative, Marmara Studios. You know, he put studio time in the pot. You know,
Yeah.
we got a professional 4K film, a commercial for your business. He threw that in the pot. That's produced by him. The editing, shooting, you know, on one location. I mean, like $3,500.
That's
Wow. Yeah,
that's a good use of $25.
Yeah,
That's a good come on.
That's a good
So we
use of
keeping it, you know,
$25.
community is
That's
not
dope.
expensive, you know, but you know, you can get that. And let's say you're not a business owner, you're not an artist, you don't want studio time, we got a custom Letterman jacket in the pot.
Okay.
Okay, you can win a jacket, put it, you know, whatever you want on it. Like, this is hip hop.
That's fine.
You know, you can get things from the bookstore, you know, gift certificates, books. I mean, it's a vibe. So we coming together. We'll have something for the children, you know, something for the artist. We're giving artists that, you know, donate their time, studio time, you know what I'm saying? So it's, you know, showing, you know, respect and appreciation for those who give to the culture. And then, of course, you know, embracing those who love the culture and want to see it better.
Dope. So is everything pretty much set, or is everything locked in, or can people still like try to be a part of the event, or is it,
I'm gonna tell you, like I told Super, you got 24 hours.
Okay.
You got 24 hours. You know, if you want to jump on the show, go ahead and go to musicisalive.net and click 2023 third annual Grassrootz Hip Hop and find the artist link. We'll be taking it down this week.
Okay.
But you do, you know, you have some time. Also, vendors, you can still jump on as a vendor, and so yeah.
Dope. Did we miss anything?
Did we miss anything? I think we talked about music. We talked about science. We talked
get
about
it?
my upbringing. I think we
locked
got
it all
it.
in?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I want to leave everything on the table. Well, Miss Arian Nicole, thank you so much for pulling up.
Thank you. It's been dope.
Super, super, super excited for this event. I'm going to speak to the people real quick. Make sure you pull up to this event. Make sure you come support. Make sure you get you a ticket. Pull up, man. I think I'm pulling up with my bucket mister, man, just in case. You know what I'm saying? Bring your bucket mister, man. Come help out. Come support. Get some from the Grassrootz Bookstore for sure.
Definitely.
Yes.
And bring your wallets. You know what I mean?
Bring those
Yeah,
wallets.
definitely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Bring
Bring
the
your wallets.
cheddar.
Yeah.
You know?
Support the black-owned vendors, the businesses. Support the bookstore. Support the artists. This is a local talent, uplifting of local talent. So we got Miles Prime, we got Black Shaw, we got Jarmel Reese. Brothers, you know, he's been
Reese.
shout out to Jarmel Reese. We got the Vanguard. So you come and see the military sisters, the young sisters in the military training of Muhammad Mas number 32. So the Vanguard, they'll be doing a drill exhibition, and we have Brother Bilal from our Black Fathers Committee. We have Brother Tramikas Muhammad of the Phoenix LOC on the panel. We have my sister Zoe, Sourable Fashions. I mean, it's like up to 13 to 14 local businesses supporting this event, and I just want to give a shout out to them all if I can. Got SMP Media, we got Saliva BU Designs, we have of course Radio Super, we have School of Hip Hop, we have already shout out to iRock Daniels. Oh my God, we got Marican Consulting, we have Central City Radio, and you know, everybody just go to musicisalive.net and check out the list.
Okay.
Awesome.
Love it.
Now I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really do appreciate you coming through. Man, this is going to be exciting. I can't wait to show up. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you again for coming. You guys stay safe. You guys stay positive out there.
And as always, this is The Gray Space. Peace.